All right, thank you for showing up to this study group. You ready? Class?
Yes.
Thank you, good. All right, so we're going to continue, but now we're going to work on the power rule today. Power rule is basically the chain rule. It is, you're just going to look like you're going to have a bunch of different things. So you identify the inside, which is here. Then we have the derivative of the inside, which is goes out here because being multiplied there. And then whatever this is, it's going to be basically your u, right? And whatever your power is goes out front, and then you subtract 1 to the power. So it is a chain rule again, but it just looks different. So let's go ahead here. So if I identify what my u would be, that would be the inside, right? Okay, so the inside is going to be the 3 minus x cubed, right? So u is 3 minus x cubed. U prime is going to be what? Very good, negative 3x squared. Good job. All right, so there's my u prime. Okay, so now if I rewrite it, I'm going to say that u is all that right there raised to the negative 5. So the derivative of u, so my it's actually a du on this case. So the du would give me the derivative of that would be what?
-5u.
Yep, u negative 6 times negative 3x squared, my u prime. And u it back. So I'm going to have, let's see, let's put our multiplication together and my x squared out front. So that's a positive 15 x squared. And that's going to be times my u, which is 3 minus x cubed raised to the negative 6. Is that pretty easy? Straightforward, right?
You just label like that.
Yeah, I even reorganized it too to make it look a little bit better. You could, what else could you do to it? I have a negative exponent. What could I do with that?
I'll make it into like a fraction.
No, that would be roots.
That's roots.
Can I move it across the divisor? Can I move it to the denominator? What happens if I move it to the denominator? It becomes a positive. Very good. So it would be a positive if I move that negative exponent to the denominator. So that would look like this. So 15x squared over quantity of 3 minus x cubed to the positive 6. That's what that would be if I were to rewrite it. All right, let's see if you can actually do this without rewriting the whole thing this time. Let's do some mental math on this one. So we're going to try and do it without rewriting. Okay? What did this exponent do? So let's go back up here, right? Remember, we're going to try and do it without rewriting it like this. I'm trying to show you the mental math on this one. So what does my exponent always do? What did my exponent do when I over there and I had it as a u? Where'd it go? Goes out front, right?
Yeah.
The exponent goes out front. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to get you guys to see this, that even though that when I had it as a u, my exponent is just coming out front no matter what. Okay, my exponent's coming out front over here. So this, the exponent is going to come out front. So that's going to be 3. Nope. Okay. what happened. Okay? This right here, didn't all this right here stay what it was?
No.
And when I did that, it was just over here, right? And when I took the derivative of that item, all I did is I subtracted my 1, didn't I? So this would give me cosine what? Very good, cosine squared. Cosine squared of, oh, that's just theta, sorry. Of theta times negative sine, not, remember, it's just the cosine. It's just the cosine, right? Because I imagine this as just being like the u, right? So it would be just the negative sine. So that's all you gotta do. So cosine to negative sine, right? Okay. Because I don't want, I already took care of the square when I took care of that over there, right? The square was over there, that's where it stayed. And this one, I just identified it. And so now it just comes out to be a negative 3 cosine squared theta times sine theta. Now, I know it's kind of confusing asking you to try some mental math. This one's actually super easy if I rewrite it as a u, but I want you guys to see, so it was cosine cube theta, right? So I would identify the u as being what? The cosine. So u is cosine theta, right? My u prime would be negative sine theta, right? Okay, so if I sub this and I say u was the cosine, over here I'd say that this is going to become u to the third, right? Okay, u to the third, and then by doing this again, so now do the derivative of that, that's going to give me my 3u squared, right? Okay, times, which is negative sine theta, which I plug it back in, 3 cosine squared theta times sine theta. Yeah, you could do it like that, but I want you to see the pattern on this. There is a pattern for this, for you to do this, and so if you could see the mental math off of it, it's going to save you some headaches. And since a lot of people don't, show all their work, she's not here anyway, so what's the point?
I was like,
I did get mad at her because, like her handwriting was very, very, I have no clue what it said most days. Did she ever pass you notes or anything? Be like, yo, okay.
I think I'm gonna understand it.
Remember elementary school when you guys used to pass notes to each other? Or actual writing on paper, right? Okay, so yeah. I didn't know if I was too old for that. Are you guys born with cell phones now and you just two-way each other? No. Okay. All right. But yeah, writing stuff down is bad because when you write a note to someone and they can't read it, they're like, I don't know what this says. You're like, I just said I love you and I want to see you at lunch. Okay. Anyway, so all right. All right. I know, right? I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, that just cut me deep. All right. It cut me deep, Shrek. Cut me deep, real deep. All right. So anyway, find the derivative of this one. So a couple things are happening here at the same time. This is a product rule. It's this times all of this, right? The F and G. But my G is a power rule. The g is a power rule, so when it's time to take the derivative, the g prime of that, I'm gonna have to do the power rule on that. And so that's the reason why I said, hey, if you could do the mental math on this, you would be a little bit better. So, off to the left, f prime is e to the x. G prime, let's see if you can mental math that one. 3
Or quantity x squared
x squared
plus 1,
plus 1,
and I close it, and then square
good job, times
2x.
2x. There it is. Good job. Man, if I had a sticker, I'd give you one. That was a good one. So, yeah, mental math. So if you could focus on trying to do that, it's going to make your life so much easier. Okay? All right, so now that's what we're going to put together when we do my product rule. So my product rule is f prime g. So e to the x. Wow, why did that do that? Where? Okay, so f, dang it, f prime g, which is e to the x, g, which is all of this, x squared plus 1 q plus sign, g prime, and I'm going to reorganize my g prime to make it a little bit better. So I'm going to use the 2 times 3 is 6 and move the x out front. So that's 6x quantity of x squared plus 1 squared. Okay, times, so that was g prime f, which is e to the x. There you go. And I could go ahead and try and reorganize it, but it's not going to help out very much because they both have factors.
You got e to the x and
Yeah, I could take an e to the x. I don't know. I'm just gonna try it. So I could take out an e to the x, and I could also take out a x squared plus 1 squared. And I'm gonna bracket this to show the difference because I'm taking all this out. Bracket's the same as the parentheses, but you know, as we write it, we don't want to have a bunch of parentheses next to each other. It just means the same thing. All right, so right here. So since I took that out, this first term, I took out the e to the x, and I took out 2 of these, so that means I have one of these left, which is x squared plus 1. And since I took out a e to the x, this one, and all of this, I'm left with plus 6x. So I could rewrite this, and it's not going to factor, but still. Yeah. That's another way that you could have seen this one if it was a multiple choice type question. I remember one of the AP questions, I kept getting it, I got it wrong when we were doing the review on it. And they factored the weirdest thing ever. They were trying to find an equivalent, but did something weird by they threw in some multiple that had nothing to do with the problem. So it looked like that answer is completely not right. But they distributed in a factor of 1, so it was like a 6x squared to the top and the bottom. And so it just totally messed up the whole thing. But that was, you know, after I went through and actually did all the factoring, I'm like, oh, hey, that all went away, and so that was the answer. But you only get weird, like 1 or 2 tricky questions like that on the AP exam. All right, so now on the inside over here, this is actually a power rule again, but the inside is going to give you what? Quotient rule, okay? So I have an F and G in the quotient rule, right? So let's do that. So F of my quotient rule, F prime is going to be, what?
Which one's your F and which one's your G?
F is always top.
Okay, F is top. Okay. 3.
3 prime Why'd you say that with a question mark?
Because I was trying to first, I read it left and right.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, anyway. So those are my quotient rule. But let's do the outside then. So the outside, so I'm going to have 5 times the quantity of the inside, which is the whole thing, right? So it's 3x plus 2, 4x squared minus 5. All that's going to be raised to the 4th power, right? Very good. 4 times the derivative of the inside. So I'm going to bracket this one because, again, it's going to be all of this. So now we're going to do derivative of the inside here. So f prime, 3 times g, which is 4x squared minus 5, minus g prime, which is 8x f times 3x, that's a 3, plus 2, close. All this is going to be over g squared, so that's going to be my quantity of 4x squared minus 5, close, squared. Yeah, it looks kind of crazy, doesn't it? And there is some distribution on the top that we could try and take care of, so that's a 12x squared. That is a minus 24x squared.
Okay, I just want to leave it like that.
Yeah. And if we need to, we can go through and simplify, but we should kind of just leave it like this. Does that make sense or nonsense?
And you just leave it like this and
Yeah. Especially if it is a free response question. Speaking of free response questions, you're taking a free response test or quiz on Tuesday. Okay, that's one free response question. That's it. Okay, then you get a 0 on a quiz. I'm trying to help you guys with your test grades. I'm not giving you retests. I'm not giving you a retest. I'm not giving you test corrections. I'm giving you another test to improve your score.
Oh, it's one free response with multiple parts, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, that's why it's going to take.
That's what, yes, that's a free response question. So it should only take 15 minutes, but I'm going to try and give you guys the entirety of the class. Just go through item by item and do your best.
Which unit is it on? 2 point.
Just 2.
Oh,
Part 2. Unit 2.
Unit 2, okay.
Yeah. All right, here it is again. Multiple composite functions for here. So it is going to be f of g of h. So derivative of the inside, okay, times the derivative of the outside. And then that's going to be, again, another inside times the derivative of the outside. So we have 3 functions here. So the dy, that means my function f. So I took this, it took a derivative of u. So right here, I have du. Okay? What that means is the derivative, so I substituted in a u, and then I did it again, and I substituted v. So this is 2 chains.
Oh, okay, double change.
Yeah, 2 chains. Okay. So let's go ahead. So I'm going to call this one U. So that's the inside of the inside, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Good. So U prime is? And then this next piece, the cosine is going to be my v. Because the next variable we use for substitution is v. Okay, what's my v going to be? No. Remember, cosine is going to be the next one. So look at it like this. If this was 5 cosine squared x, right, I would have to identify it here as cosine being the u value, right?
Okay.
But because this over here is not an x, it's a composite, that means that there's another function in here. That's the reason why this is not going to work, so I'm going to call this one the cosine of u. Okay, and then the outside, so the outside is going to be, I'm going to rewrite this, so I'm going to say that this is going to be 5 v squared.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So that's going to give me 10v, right?
Okay.
Times v prime. So what is v prime? Negative what? Okay, so yes, we get negative sign. So this is going to be 10v times negative sign of u. Okay, and times the next one.
Divine times x.
Okay, what else do we have? U prime, right?
Yeah.
U prime. U prime is going to give me
3.
3.
Longer.
Yes, it is. And so that's the reason why we're using multiple variables, so we could actually see as it goes. So I have a v, v prime. U, u prime.
How long can it go before it gets too long?
No, this is the easiest way to do this. There's other ways, but you don't want to do those. The chain rule is so much easier than trying to use the product rule over and over and over again. Okay? Because couldn't we have written this as the product of cosine times cosine?
Yeah.
Okay? It could have been the cosine of cosine, right? But then we'd have a chain and a product together. We're trying to avoid having to complicate that. All right, so let's plug it back in. So my v is what? 10 cosine, right? And cosine of what? What is,
U. Which
Okay.
is 3x.
that is my u, v. Cosine is my v. V prime is cosine of u. And what is my u? 3x.
plus 2.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't know, did I not, is that what you said too?
Yeah.
And I
that's
just-
what was
I-
saying,
okay.
was like-
Don't worry. All right, so now bring it down again. So this next piece is going to be a negative sign, so I'm going to put that negative out here. And that sign of u, but my u is,
3x plus 2.
and all that is times,
Can we just move to 3?
I could,
Okay.
times 3. I'm going to move it out front anyway.
Wait, why isn't 10 negative? Oh, because you moved negative sign.
From the negative from the sign. So, all together, I get negative 30 cosine of 3x plus 2 times sine of 3x plus 2. Say it again.
You can just leave or you can factor out.
I cannot factor out because if it's inside like this, to be able to break it apart, I have to do an inverse. If I want to get anything out of the cosine or sine, that angle, I have to do the inverse. But I don't have it equal to anything, so I can't really just throw in an inverse or an arc sine or cosine, none of that. So it's just a cosine times sine. Okay. And let's go to that last one then. Okay, so sine 3 or sine cubed of pi over 2x. Y equals. Yeah, there we go. All right, so identify my parts. U is,
Pi over 2x.
okay, so U is, right? Okay,
The v is sine.
just sine.
Just
Yeah, sine U, very good, right? So let's see, U prime is pi over 2, very good. Okay, and you said V was sine of U, and V prime is cosine of U. So now on this problem, I wanted to show all parts right here, then we can plug it in and start doing all my subs. Okay, so I'm doing all my subs. So all the way to the outside. Let's go all the way to the outside. That is going to be my V, right? Because I subbed V for my sine. That's all I have out here, right? So I'm going to say that V, let's change the red because why not? That's going to be V to the third, right? I subbed everything, so V to the third. Take the derivative of that is going to give me, yep, 3V squared times V prime, okay? And so we're going to have V prime. I'll write that there, so then we could rewrite it in a second. And then that's going to give me 3V squared times my V prime, which was cosine of U, okay? And this is going to be times U prime, which is pi over 2. Does that make sense or is that nonsense? Nonsense right now, right? Maybe? Yeah. Okay, so there is a process, and that's the reason why I keep trying to identify and show you where everything is coming from. So I had started with the V. That was my largest, my outside portion. I did my derivative times the derivative prime, or the V prime, sorry. And then I have out here, I still bring them down times U, then I sub for each one of these. So let's see. So as I put this back, this is going to be 3. My V is going to be sine U, right?
Sine of u, yes.
And so it's sine of U, but my U is
Pi over 2x.
Okay, and that's sine squared, right? Because that's v squared. So the sine goes right there, times cosine u, cosine pi over 2x times, and any cleaning up, I could move the pi over 2 to the front,
This is 3 pi over 2.
3 pi over 2, times sine squared pi over 2x times cosine of pi over 2x. And hopefully you guys feel pretty good about this now. Yes? Maybe? It's going to make some of these problems a lot easier if you could identify it as a chain versus having to do the product rule every time. Or, sometimes quotient rule you can get away with, but yeah, the power rule helps. So that being said, we are done. So I know you guys are all going to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. And you're going to do some review over break. I'm going to assign you a review. And so you could do the
Acceleration.
FRQ. FRQ, you're doing one free response question on Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay? So I'll give you a review for that.